Joining me now to discuss is John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the UN and former national security advisor to Donald Trump. Ambassador, good to see you again. Thanks for being with us. What are you watching for to come out of this meeting, given the lack of clarity around what a NATO-like security agreement means, and now Trump saying U.S. troops will not be sent to Ukraine?
Well, I don't envy the military leaders who are meeting to try and figure this out. They rely on political direction. What are the objectives of their political superiors, and what are they expecting? Then they can come up with possible ways to implement that from the military's point of view. And I think there's a lot of confusion at the very top levels of the discussion about what the countries supporting Ukraine should do. The question of how you define the security guarantee, who participates in it, what the mission is of any force on the ground, and therefore what do you need to do to make it be effective. And so you can talk about deploying troops and this and that and the other thing, but the question is, what are they there for? Are they there like a UN peacekeeping operation, primarily to observe and report? Or are they there to fight against a possible Russian violation of the ceasefire? They're two very different kinds of missions and require two very different kinds of forces.
What are you reading from Russia's subtle and not so subtle signals about their commitment to ending this war?
Well, I don't think there's any sign whatever from the Russians that they're eager for the war to come to a halt. They think they're winning on the battlefield, and they know what their objective is. It's not to gain a few more square miles here or there in Ukraine. They want to absorb Ukraine into the new greater Russian empire. They didn't get there in 2014. They haven't gotten there this time, but they're still determined to do it, which is why the security guarantee question is so important to Ukraine. They've had guarantees before that the Russians have ignored at great cost to Ukraine and Russia.
Is this war any closer to ending, say, than it was 2 weeks ago before Trump met with Putin and Zelensky and European leaders?
No, I don't think so. I think the Russians think they're in a pretty good position. I think Putin believes that his KGB training worked for him yet again in Alaska to get Trump back in the view that he and Putin were friends, and Trump keeps repeating that. What a warm feelings they have between the two of them, and so although there's been a lot of motion and a lot of pomp and circumstance, I don't see that in substantive terms we're any closer today to a peace that Ukraine could or should accept.
I'm thinking back to the election campaign when Trump said he could end the war in 24 hours. Do you think he underestimated the complexity of this situation, Ambassador?
Well, to say the least. I mean, he's been trying for 6 months and he hasn't gotten it. And look, he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. I think that's very clear. He keeps telling people that. And my advice is for a head of state like Mark Carney that wants to try and advance the ball with Trump, offer to nominate him twice for a Nobel Peace Prize. It's a question that's on his mind, but it's not the central question for Ukraine or Russia, which is why they're happy to take advantage of what they see as his objective and try and work it for their own advantage.
Think Carney will take your advice?
I don't know. I don't want to get involved in the trade dispute. It's bad enough the policies that Trump is pursuing on tariffs. It's going to make everybody worse off economically, I'm afraid.
Well, I have to say on that note, before you go, we're wondering where things stand and if Trump has been completely preoccupied by what's been going on with Ukraine and Russia, if he's even focusing on the tariff war with Canada.
I'm afraid the answer is he's probably not. You know, even if we reach agreement on the tariffs, that's not good enough for a Nobel Peace Prize.
John Bolton is the former national security advisor to Donald Trump. Thanks again. Appreciate seeing you.